Hello folks, L.A. Little here with TA Today, bringing you neoclassical technical analysis on a regular basis, giving you trading ideas, setups, and thoughts about where this market is and where it's going. Let's get into it. Well, if we look here at the MAGS to start with, let's focus on the MAGS. What we see, I'm doing this on March 25th, and what we see this morning is as this market bounces, who's the leader? Well, big liquid institutions are going to go for big liquid stocks. What better than the MAGS, right? They're beat up, they've been sold down, and so now they're trying to bounce. But let's look at it and see if it makes sense, right? I've got the MAGS itself up, and then we'll flip through the various individual stocks. But what I want to point out to you here to begin with is that these stocks have been, broken. This is a bearish retest regen. So you break down here, right? You come back in, you test, and now you're regenerating to the downside. Where are you heading? Well, you're going to head for the next swing point low. You got this area over here that's support. And so if you just kind of put in a box and say, okay, well, what does that look like? It's somewhere down in this area. Can it get lower? Sure. I mean, things could happen, and this thing could just rocket to the downside. We may see it come all the way back to this area here, which is the key area to buy. That has never been tested. It's down, in this case, it's around 50. And that's going to be a sweet spot if it gets there. But that's another 12% down. Will it get there? Probably, eventually. But so much of it depends on what happens, and we don't know. It's too far in the future. So what we have to do now is just understand what we have, and what we have is we have a breakdown, a retest, and a continuation, and that's normal. That's what should happen. Now, if this bottoms and starts back up and retest again, the picture starts to change. But as long as it continues in this downward path, right, then you have a higher probability that you're going to get down to this next swing point low. If you break it, what does that do? Sets up another bearish retest regen. That's the way the markets work. Okay, so that's the main thing to realize when you're looking at the MAGS. Now, if you look at it long term, right, you've got different time frames. You've got daily, weekly, and monthly. The monthly is just coming back in right now and doing a test of that bullish retest. So it's bullish. And so long term, this thing is still bullish, but it's testing. If it were to break, which would mean it would have to get underneath on a monthly basis and close underneath roughly 51.98, right, then that would change the trend. Now, if it, what you would ideally want to see if you're wanting to buy this, you'd like to see this to come back, probably come in here, test, probably try to bounce back up and come back down again, and maybe stay inside that as this comes back into this area here that's the buy. But again, those are all thoughts for the future. Let's go into the individual stocks real quick and see what they look like. I'm going to start with them just one by one. Apple. Apple's been a strong one. Apple's still bullish on the long-term time frame, just like the others. It's still bullish even on the intermediate term time frame. I mean, it has broken a swing point low that was up here, right? But it got back up there and retested and broke back through it, right? So it kind of nullified that breakdown. The trend itself is still sideways, right? The classical definition of it. But if you look at this, potentially this is a rolling top, but right now it's relatively strong compared to other things. You look at it on the daily, it's struggling, just like everything else. So Apple, not too bad, looks okay. Amazon looks bad. Amazon's just doing a bounce off of a bearish retest regen and is probably going to roll back over. So to me, when I see a pattern like this that looks like that, if this continues down, that's bad, right? It's going to break down. And so over here, you got a bullish retest regen that's right at the bottom of it trying to hang on. Here, you've got multiple bearish retest regens. Now, they've been tested. This one up here hasn't, but they've been tested. The fact that that one hasn't been tested, let's pop it up so you can see it clearly. the fact that this hasn't been tested, this one, right, in more than 6 bars now, says that if it does get up here, it's almost certainly going to reverse down, at least for an attempt to break back down. But right now, can't even get up there. It got close, but didn't quite get there. So Amazon to me is kind of a hands-off, not something I'd be wanting to invest in. Google, now Google's been extremely strong, had a huge run. This one looks good as it pulls back, but your support is way back here in terms of bullish retest regens. So you have to look at the swing point lows, look at volume. You've got volume on this bar, so this area here doesn't look bad. 265, 260, 270, somewhere in that area. That's that low of that big bar is 278, so the anchor. So I mean, Google's probably good for a bounce once it gets into that area. You don't have retest regens because of how strong it has been. MAGS we already looked at. Let's go to Meta. Meta has broken down. This is not a stock I'd be interested in until it got way back down here. And so this one, I mean, it's possible that it could turn here, but to me, this pattern is not a good pattern. I just, I have a hard time seeing why you'd want to be invested in this. This is the third test, or the second test. Here's 1, here's 2, here's 3 tests of that bullish retest regen. More than likely it's going to break, which means it goes to the bottom. 479 gets you back down to like in this area, which is that swing point low. If you break here and you break there, you got a lot of problems. And so Meta is not something I'd probably play with. Microsoft is totally broken down. Now, here is a swing point break, got back up, made a new high, came all the way back down. You had a bullish retest regen here that failed, right? That was a clear signal you had problems. And so now you're coming back to try and test this one, which is where what? You got a swing point low. You break that swing point low along with the other swing point low over here on the weekly, you got even more problems. So I know this thing is very oversold, but until it tells you it's found some sort of a bottom, you just got to have hands off. NVIDIA is the star. Swing point low, swing point low, swing point low, just holding, right? Big move up, sideways, big, sideways, up, sideways. Do notice that on the way up, these surges are getting smaller and smaller. That means that, this is not the sort of thing that you're going to get a double or a triple more than likely anytime soon. But at the same time, it's still strong. Unless you break these swing point lows, right, this one looks fine. And finally, Tesla. Tesla struggled. Tesla's coming back in to test and did test first time on this bullish retest regen. This was the buy right here. So it got into 364.46. That high was 367. That was the buy. You see the big bounce off of it. I'll blow it up for you. The big bounce off of it right here. The problem is that it has to continue up now. If it doesn't, right, and it's coming into this big bearish retest regen, usually you can figure a couple, 2/3 of it, so somewhere up into this area here. So price-wise, it could get as high as maybe about 432. It's been in a downtrend, came back in, that's the buy. Now it's bouncing. That's what it should do. If it rolls back over, it becomes a hands-off as well. So if it comes back over, test again, and actually breaks, if this breaks, right, then you're going to the next lows, and they're down here. And so Tesla at that point would be hands-off. Right now, it's on a bounce. As long as it can hold, it's probably not a bad situation to be buying. So that's the way the MAGs look. MAGs are a huge part of all the indexes. And so how they go, so goes the indexes. And if you look at them, you kind of got, decent here, nothing there, good here. The MAGS itself doesn't look that good. Meta, I wouldn't be buying. Microsoft until it finds a bottom. NVIDIA looks all right. And Tesla right now is okay, but could turn on us, so we have to be careful. So what is it? It's a mixed picture, right? Just like the market. A market's been working its way down. Well, these things have been working their way down as well. There will be a bottom at some point. Question is where, and are you going to be around to take advantage of it? So keep your portfolios kind of lean and thin until this market tells you it's found a bottom. Have a great one. I'll see you next time.